Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I have an exciting analysis for you all. It's a follow-up analysis on Star Citizen's performance. I have once again been putting the 3900K through its paces. Now I've tested it in a variety of frequencies and have some interesting findings to share with you. So whether you are new to Star Citizen, an early backer, or just somebody who loves in-depth analyses of the latest tech, I think you'll find this video very helpful. So sit back, relax, and let's dive in. For the test setup, we're using the 13900KF clocked at 4 GHz all the way up to 5.8 to try the different frequencies. We're also tuning and adjusting the ring clock to make sure that we keep stability once we're lowering the frequencies. We're also running 32 GB of RAM at 4100 MHz, tuned with tight secondary and tertiary timings. We're also running the Nvidia RTX 4090 with an overclock. For further system specifications, you can find the full details in the description below. To ensure the analysis is consistent and accurate, I'm using the Lorville run that I designed in my previous videos to create a robust testing methodology that will eliminate any margins of error. Once again, you can test this run yourself and compare your own results, but remember to do 3 runs and take the average. If you're doing the Lorville run, then please do me a favor, put down your specs in the comment and share the results of your average and the minimum 1% lows. I highly recommend you using CapFrameX to capture the result because it gives you all the information you need to share with us. Looking at the results, I was surprised to see that there was hardly any difference between the performance of 5.8 GHz and 5 GHz. This is an indication that the RAM is still at play, and what we're looking at here really is that the 4100 MHz tuned memory can't even saturate the 3900K above 5 GHz. We can confirm this by looking how the performance delta is only roughly 3% at 4.5 GHz. Meanwhile, the overall clock frequency has gone down by over 10%. This shows us that we're still not saturating the 3900K at 5 GHz and above. And to validate this, we are now taking the results from our previous benchmarks, so please take a look at that as well. By clicking on the card on the top right hand corner, you can see the previous video where I get these results from, where we include the 5.8 GHz with our RAM clocked at 3600 MHz with XMP. What we're looking at here is that this performs equally to the 3900K at 4 GHz. We are talking about a massive 45% clock delta between 5.8 GHz and 4 GHz. That is a 45% clock difference, but we are seeing the exact same performance. This is how we know that the RAM is really holding back the 3900K. And to double validate the bottleneck of the RAM, I also took the results from our previous video I did, please check that out here, of when we looked at how the 3900K scale with different core setups. So what we see here is the results of the 3900K with 4 cores and 4 hyperthreads. So we're talking about a total of 8 threads, but only 4 cores. It is running at 5.8 GHz, the same settings as all the other results, except we have fewer cores. And what you can see here once again is that the results is exactly the same or very close to the results as running at 3600 MHz. So what this tells us is that the RAM is bottlenecking the 3900K by a lot. There's so much more performance to be gained here. I even dare to say we can probably get another 50% performance uplift if we can have an unlimited tuning capacity for our RAM. I don't even think 4400 will be able to saturate the 3900K at 5.8 GHz. And for those who are saying get DDR5, I completely hear you. We will do a DDR4 versus DDR5 test in the future. But even though DDR5 can reach to much higher frequencies, above 8000, it has a worse latency, which is usually the main thing that drives the performance of the CPU. But we're not going to speculate here what is faster. We're actually going to test it in the future, so stay tuned for that as well, even at 4100 MHz. So we can now theorize that for us to really push the 3900K to its limit, we'll probably need to be at 4400 MHz or in that range with really tight timings. And this could potentially result in an additional 10 to 20% performance uplift over what you see here on the highest frequencies. In summary, and I think the summary is self-explanatory, what we're looking at here is once again the RAM holding the 3900K back. And without translates into too is that even the 12,000 series of CPUs from Intel will also be held back by the RAM. So if you're a PC builder and you have made your decision to build on the Intel platform, then I highly recommend you to look at the RAM sticks that are clocked at 3600 MHz with CL14. These RAM sticks can overclock to 4000 and up to 4400 depending on your lock there. And if you already have a system built and you're sitting on the 3600 MHz or lower, most of these RAM sticks can go much higher. So I recommend that you overclock the frequency and tune secondary and tertiary timings to the tight as possible. Now I know a lot of people might not know how to do that, but I might make a separate video on how to tune your memory in the future. Finally, I want to say thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this analysis and found it informative. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, as I do videos weekly so you can make better decisions on your PC build and improve your performance and experience with Star Citizen, which in my opinion is one of the most advanced and interesting game to date. And also, if you want to have any suggestions on a future video, then please put some comments in, and I'm also open to feedback, and I want to thank you in advance.